In this episode, I'm joined by Ngunan Adamu from BBC Radio Merseyside.
Blah, 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 blah.
Do you know what I was going to do? That's probably the best intro anyone's ever done on this. That's amazing.
And I haven't even had a drink.
Yeah. I think you're my favourite guest straight away. We haven't even done anything.
I'm always silly.
So let's get straight into this. Give us a background on yourself. So you present the Upfront show on Merseyside, and you started that in 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know, give us a feel of what the show is about.
So it's a black magazine show. It's been going for over 30 years. I've been doing it actually for 15 years. Okay. But I was a broadcast assistant when it first started, and then I would do little bits on the show. And then obviously once I started working full time for the BBC, I then became a volunteer, and then I became the presenter of the show 7 years ago. Okay. But I was in Manchester working for BBC News Outreach at the time, and when the presenter left, they were like, "Oh, Ngunan, do you want to give it a shot?" And I was like, "Okay then." But everyone always assumes that because you like to talk, it's easy to present, and it is not easy at all.
Yeah.
You know, you have to really warm into it. And yeah, so 7 years, started January 2013, and yeah, it's crazy. So when I first started, it was on a Sunday, and it's now been moved to a Monday night.
Wow.
So yeah. So it's everything and anything that is of interest to the Merseyside Black community. So I cover stories which are local, national, international, and play music of Black origin. So if you like your reggae, if you like your Motown, old school hip hop, all that type of, those types of music. And you just get to interview some amazing people. So yeah, I love it.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So what sort of stuff got you into the radio industry and the presenting side of stuff? Was there an interest from the beginning, or?
Well, you know what? So my granddad was a journalist, but he was more print journalism. And I always I was an entertainer. I loved talking. It's funny because I was quite quiet as a child, until I got to, I'd say, 4 or 5. Okay. Well, the funny thing is, I wanted to be a doctor because my dad was a doctor. So I was like, that's where I'm heading. But something just said to me, no, go into media, go into journalism. And initially, I wanted to be a war reporter. I wanted to get into politics and, travel to war zones. So I knew I had this love of people and telling those stories, like they say, giving the voice to the voiceless, and promoting people's stories that mainstream media at the time wasn't covering. So once I think it's when I got into uni that I thought, this is me. And I found that the type of stories that I wanted to cover were around, people, communities, health, refugees, asylum, migration, all that type of stuff. So I just thought this is a time for me to really get into it, So yeah, so it's been really weird because even though I got into the industry, it's actually taken me on a whole different journey. I never thought I'd be a radio presenter ever. I thought the most I'd probably be maybe a TV presenter on MTV or something.
Yeah.
Because that was the coolest place to be. There was no One Extra. There was no Radio One. There was Radio One, but it wasn't the Radio One that we see now. But like I said, I wanted to go into into war zones and politics and stuff. So yeah.
That's amazing. So you've got you've got a child?
Yeah, little one.
Yeah, little one. Yeah. So what sort of future do you think that they'll have? Because you said you wanted to do something, then did something else. So yeah.
The funny thing, Balv, is so he's 9 now, and when I had him, that's when I think I started really looking at the world in a very different place, in a different way. And I kind of said to myself, what kind of world do I want my son to live in?
Yeah.
And that's when I decided to go part-time with the BBC and start my own social enterprise. So I started my company called iWoman. So I have iWoman Media and iWoman Academy. And iWoman Academy is all about using radio as a wellbeing tool to support women who are unemployed, maybe seeking refugee asylum, or just want to change in career. So there's different parts of iWoman, but the main crux of it is health. So it's using health as, you know, to support women's needs and journeys. So when I thought, so it got me into really thinking about the way the world is and what I want from him. So it's funny because now I ask him, I say, what would you like to be when you're older? And obviously with children, it always changes.
Yeah.
And he said he wants to be an engineer. He wants to be like, you know, he wants to be like Spider-Man. You know,
that's what I want to be as well, Spider-Man.
I'm more Iron Man, Black Panther.
Yeah.
But he's like, I want to be like Spider-Man. I want to go into science. And, you know, I think that's fantastic because even though he's very creative, he's quite similar to me, you know, very out there, loves the big dramatics. But when you meet him, he is quite quiet. But I think the industry is so hard that I would prefer if he did something like, you know, sciences, which is, in my eyes, a lot more stable.
Yeah.
The media industry is not that stable.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. So it is scary because, you know, I mentioned earlier, I've been here for 15 years. And in those 15 years, I've actually been through 3 lots of job cuts. And I've been fortunate enough to still be around, you know. But I found that was one of the reasons why I decided to start my own business, because I felt that I needed something that, you know, I could fall back. Well, should I say fall back on? Yeah, I needed something I could fall back on, and I didn't want to wait until I was made redundant to have that.
Yeah,
you know,
nice.
So it took a lot of juggling and working 7 days a week, but I'm in a really good place now, where I'm really enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the people that I meet.
Yeah.
So it's, in a way, it's shown my little one that, and other people as well, that there's different sides to media. It's not just, you know, working for a corporation or being freelance. You can have your own business if you're not too scared or afraid to do so. It's a sacrifice, but it's worth it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because I am part of the BBC New Voices at Lancashire. Yeah. So I did my first show, went really well. Then offered the second show, and then 5 days before the second show was meant to go on air, the country went into lockdown. And I was just like, I was devastated. So I thought, how can I turn this into a positive? So I think I did what you did and set up a business. So we're running like a media production business down here in Bedford, where I'm from, and it's almost going surprisingly well. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I totally get what you mean. And, you know, someone said to me today, even, it's what you've been preparing for.
Yeah.
Because they always say that, you know, there's no such thing as luck. It's when hard work, is it when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, so you've been preparing for this all your life, and now you've got the opportunity to do so. It's like, run with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's exactly like because I started this podcast, and we wouldn't be talking if it wasn't for like the COVID-19. So it's funny how life works and how it like brings us to where we like end up.
It's, you know what, definitely. And I found that I thought at the beginning of COVID, I was quite I've loved lockdown. I really have embraced it. You know, I've been reading more, I've been doing more research, I've been exercising and meditating. I've really thrown myself into just getting to know me a little bit more.
Yeah.
And actually, I found that now I've been doing so many of these interviews that I've had opportunities through those interviews as well. So I'm actually more busy now than I was before lockdown. Yeah. And like you said, I was like, God, how did that happen?
Yeah. No, Jay, I know the feeling, yeah.
But there's people out there that, you know, so I've done like live sessions where it's been surprising being able to see how many people are logged on to hear me talk. And at times I'm like, oh God, I'm nervous. But then I'm thinking, God, where in the world are these people? Where in the UK are they? And, you know, and it's sometimes, even though I've been in the industry for so long, I'm always still surprised that people want to hear my story, hear me talk, you know, because sometimes you get so used to just doing things and getting on with life that you don't take stock how much you've actually done and how much you've actually achieved. And for me, I think lockdown has allowed me to actually take stock and say, no, Ngunan, you've done really well. You know, you need to give yourself a pat on the back, you know, that kind of Americanism, high five stuff.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I got this.
Exactly, yeah. So if you were doing a show at Merseyside, what would like a typical day look like? Is there a typical day for you?
You know what? It's funny because I don't work full time. I'm like, I play it by ear, really. So I'll say there's two scenarios. So the first typical day could be, you know, through the week I'll be doing pre-recorded interviews. So if it's an international story, a lot of times the time difference means I've got to go in at different times of day. Sometimes I might even have to go in at, say, 8 p.m., you know, to go and interview someone in America. And, you know, the funny thing is, now that I'm saying it, because of lockdown, I've discovered so many different ways of interviewing. Like, I mean, you've got Zoom, you've got clean feeds, you've got so many different audio. I mean, Zencaster even, you know, there's so many different audio tools out there they can use to interview people in different countries that, you know, now that we've had COVID, I can take advantage of. So before, I would always be in the studio interviewing people, and then on the Sunday is when I would present and I would edit most of my work. And another day it could literally be I'm booking guests during the week, and then as long as I'm in on a Sunday, that's all that matters. So really, my work is quite flexible, which is good. So to be honest, there's no real typical working day for me. But I've discovered now that because of lockdown, I've taken stock of how many hours I was working, and I'm definitely stripping all that back. I think there's better ways of working. I need to, you know, my time management can be managed a lot better.
Be more efficient,
honestly, considerably more efficient, possibly 50% more efficient.
Wow.
You know, because you know yourself, we love this industry. We love broadcasting. We love working at the BBC. We love all these things. And sometimes, because you love something so much and you're so passionate about it, you forget how many hours you're spending on it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So you have to take stock of, you know, how much time you're spending in the office, how much time you're actually putting in that job. And now it's like, well, I didn't need to spend those hours in the office. I could have easily have booked maybe 2 or 3 guests that day, got them out the way, and not have to go in through the week.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I've just graduated from Edge Hill, which is where you went.
Yeah,
postgrad. And we were doing like editing our final piece, and I must have spent like 5 hours. And like you said, because I love doing it, those 5 hours it felt like 5 minutes. Yeah. And I looked at the time, I was like, bloody hell, where'd that time go?
And it is, and sometimes that's the issue when you're so passionate about the industry that you're working.
Yeah.
You know, that sometimes you actually don't take stock of your own mental health and, you know, your downtime. And that's why during lockdown, I decided that I wanted to start meditating a bit more and doing yoga and really taking stock of, you know, of my space and my surroundings and just knowing who I am again, really, and just remembering, you know, the fun Ngunan that I am. Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm always crazy anyway, but I think lockdown has made me even more crazy.
I think you know from the start of the interview where you go, brop, 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 brop. Oh my God, the people at iWoman must love you.
You know what, we have so much fun, you know what it is as well, I think. So, you know, when I was first starting my business, and I don't know if it might be the same for you, I had in my head what a business leader looked like and what a manager looked.
The typical.
Yeah. And I was like, oh God, I couldn't be a leader. Oh, I couldn't do this. Oh, I couldn't do that. So it was at that stage where I was like, I can't, I want to be myself. I want to, if this is not what people think a normal leader is, then so be it. I don't care. As long as that works, and as long as, the women are enjoying their time with me and they're getting something out of it, that's what matters. I'm not going to be snotty-nosed or, this is me, that's you. We're all in this together. As long as the work gets done and, I'm paying my accountants and I'm filing my taxes, that's all that matters.
I'm starting to realise pay the accountants and pay the taxes.
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing, yeah. Forget the business, just make sure you pay the accountant.
But this is it. And you know what? So one of the things I do now is I teach media entrepreneurship, and I say to lots of people, no matter what you do, just make sure you understand how, your legal structure, understand how, just your bookkeeping, just know all of that, because that's where you stumble, and have the right people on your side to give you the right advice as well. A lot of my mentors aren't even from the media industry, because I wanted to be able to have someone who was quite corporate, because the passion of the industry comes from me. Yeah. But what I need is someone to tell me about trading, someone to tell me, how to network, how to actually run a business. And it's weird. I've had iWoman now. We launched. I say we, like I've got a team. I launched in 2016, and I'm still going. Yeah. So you've got to, as hard as it is, you have to keep on going. Definitely, and it's going to take at least 5 years to actually see, actually get a decent income.
Yeah, no, I agree, because like you said, the passion comes from you. You just need to, the way I look at it is the paperwork, like the boring side, where you have to fill out forms. It has to come from somewhere, but it has to be done. It has to be done.
So that's how it is. But you know what? It's the juggling can be hard sometimes. But now with lockdown, it's given me the opportunity to be able to just plan my life. Yeah. Really. Yeah.
I think it's amazing that you've done that, because I know a lot of, I think that's probably the wrong word, but you see on like social media, Facebook, Twitter, where people are just being so negative about lockdown and being so negative about not being able to do the stuff they want to do. But I think you've like sort of switched it on its head and looked at it as a positive. And you said to yourself, right, I can start meditating, I can start doing yoga, and I can start doing the things that are good for me.
Yeah. You know what I did as well, Beth? It was like when I remember years ago, and it's weird because there's some messages that I remember that have played such a big role and a big part in where I am now. And it must have been probably about 7 years ago. And it was an image on Facebook that came up, and it said, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? And literally that was when I was like, you know what? What's stopping me? There's people out there who literally don't have anything or anyone, and they count on themselves to grow, develop, and be successful. And I took that advice on, and I thought, from that time on, I was like, I will not make decisions based on money. Whether it's, if I'm desperate, not taking the wrong jobs or the wrong contracts. And it's worked so well for me, because sometimes we think, I've been broke before, where I've had £5 to last me till like the next payday. And I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to get through this? And that moment will possibly last maybe 2 or 3 months until something picks up. It never lasts more than 3 to 6 months. And I know it seems like it's a long time, but if you stay true to yourself and you know what you're looking for, it always comes through. And I'm a big believer of the power of the universe, and and just listening to your gut instincts. And like yourself, you could have easily thought, oh, this new voices isn't working for me, what do I do now? And just felt sorry for yourself, like most people have done. But instead you're like, no, I'm going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to try that. So, and that's what employers love to hear.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
So I'm doing something right.
You know, honestly, it's like they want to hear that, because it's funny, because some of the most successful people always go, "Oh, you don't need sleep." I mean, you need sleep, but it's like you do need sleep. But what they're more or less saying is, if you really believe in yourself, you'll make things work.
Yeah.
And if the amount of, and this was one big thing for me, the amount of hours I spend working for the BBC, imagine what I could do for my enterprise if I spent those amounts of hours.
Yeah.
And here, this is where I am.
Exactly, yeah. Because I heard this, so there's a quote I read in I think it was a book or journal, and the quote was, "Why not you?" So somebody has to present the Upfront show on BBC Radio Merseyside. Why not be you? Why not be you?
Exactly.
So what advice would you give to someone who's looking to pursue a career that's similar to yours, so sort of like entrepreneurship and radio and presenting? So what sort of advice would you give?
So one of the biggest questions that especially young people will ask me is, do I need to go to university? And you'll always find conflicting messages from that. Now, I've been to university twice because I love to learn, and I think it's about not second guessing myself. But there's some people who have started, working for the industry just, from learning learning from YouTube, learning from, webinars and all these things. I love, I love university, and I think depending on how far you see yourself growing, or if you see yourself as an entrepreneur or as working for an organisation like BBC or Al Jazeera, you need to go to university. Internationally, you need to go to university. But if you're thinking you want to stay local, learn your craft and, join, you can go through work experience and develop that way. But the competition now is so massive that I think university gives you that edge that possibly you probably won't get just from learning by yourself. But if you've got that passion to learn a lot more, partnered with going to university, you're in a win-win situation.
Yeah. No, I was like, because the realization came from me like in second year, and I realized that everyone at Edge Hill in my cohort is going to leave this with a degree. That's just in my university. I'm not talking about universities across the country and universities across the world. Yeah. That's just here. What's going to make me stand out as well as the degree? Because everyone's going to leave with a degree. As horrible as that sounds, and I don't mean it to be horrible, everyone's going to leave on a live. What's going to make me better than everyone else?
Exactly.
Which is why the BBC Lancashire thing came up, and I was like, I'm gonna grab that with both hands, and it's gone all right so far. So
yeah, but also, you know what, the world is a big place as well, and for a lot of you young ones, you might not want to stay in this country. You might decide that in the next 5 years, even, you want to go and work somewhere else. You want to work abroad. And, I do most of my work nowadays as well is with the World Service. So I travel quite a bit. So I've been to different parts of Africa, different parts of Asia, and they want qualifications. They're so stuck on qualifications. It's unbelievable. It was like when I did my journalism degree, and my dad was like, "Oh, okay, so that means you're going to do a master's and then a PhD." And I was like, "No, Dad, it's media." But and it was like, I mean, that's normal. That's what you're going to do. And I was like, "Well, no, I'm in the industry first." But you're finding that when you go to different countries, if you are exploring internationally, they love qualifications. Yeah. Absolutely love qualifications. And even now, I'm even thinking of a PhD, but that's only because I've worked in the industry for so long. I've got my enterprise. So it's looking at, all right, then how does media support people's journeys and well-being and, and health? So we have to be in the industry. So I definitely think if you're not too fussed about how you grow and where you're going, don't go to university. You can easily go through work experience, and hopefully use your drive and your passion and your personality to get you, where you need to go. Yeah. However, as you're climbing that ladder, You know, you will get people who have got universities who've got degrees, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a journalism degree. It could be an English degree, a history degree, a geography, but you've got some kind of, you know, university degree qualification.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm thinking as well, sorry, rewind back. So in terms of if you want to go into business, again, I didn't go to uni to do business. I went back to uni to do my PGCE, which is postgraduate qualification in education. Education, I can't remember. PGCE is education.
Yeah.
And was it postgraduate education?
It's postgraduate certificate of education.
Yeah.
Come on, Ngunan.
Oh God, it's the end of the night.
Yeah.
I've had a drink, you know. If I had a drink, I'd be rolling off my tongue. Yeah. But I went back because because I'm running an academy. I wanted to make sure that I knew how the education system worked, schemes of work, how to plan lessons, understanding different educational theorists. So I really threw myself into education in that sense. But the funny thing is, I remember I had to go part-time at the BBC to go back into uni. And someone said to me, like, are you seriously going to leave, to go back to uni? And I was like, well, I'm not leaving. I'm only going part-time. Yeah. And at that stage as well, I just felt like I wasn't being stretched. I wasn't doing enough. And I needed to try something different. Now, this qualification has actually opened more doors than my journalism degree. Because now, I'm going into universities, I'm training journalists in different parts of the world. I can go into schools, so I'm doing sessions online. So it's really, shown people and other companies that she's not just a journalist. Actually, she can teach as well. She can do training. She's a facilitator. So I've sacrificed a lot, but I've gained so much. So I think for anyone who's looking at broadening their skills, definitely look at where you want to go, what skills you need if you do need a degree, and literally work backwards.
Work backwards, yeah.
Definitely work backwards and read. You have to read.
Yeah.
Understand, the industry that you're going into. If there's a particular journalist, scientist, engineer that that you like, read their story. I didn't have the opportunity to read as much as I used to, but during lockdown, I've read so much. Yeah. I just saturated my mind with so many different, theories and, positivity and all kinds. So, yeah, you can tell I'm always excited. So, yeah.
No, I agree, because I think I did the same as you. I just read so much and just tried to absorb as much. And I've always been into documentaries, but in the last 3-4 months, it's like documentaries are going out of fashion the way I'm consuming them. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I just love sort of learning something new and then going, Mum, look what I just learned.
You know what? It's funny because the biggest advice as well is if you're thinking about going into, even into entrepreneurship, you don't have to work those 12 hours. You really don't. Because that's what I did, because I thought that was the normal thing to do. And I found that I was getting so tired that I was missing opportunities. I was working sometimes. I'd be still on the laptop at midnight, and I'm a single mom. I pick up my little one from school. We'll have our dinner together. Then I'm back on the laptop. So you need to work the best way for you.
Yeah.
Because if you can't follow other people's patterns, everyone's different. And you're not in, I've realized and I've learned as well, you're not in competition with anyone. Your idea is nothing new. The only thing that makes a difference is you.
It's you, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So no matter how slow you go, how fast you go, it's only going to be successful because of you.
Yeah. I see like little videos and skits online or Facebook, and I'm looking at it going, I think I can do that in a different way, or I like my own little spin, and then exactly. I'll record it, and it actually if it comes off well, then great, but if not, then that's fine as well, because I tried it.
And literally they always say, don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Someone else has done that hard work for you.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is get it and tweak it. And and the thing is, that's what a business person told me, because they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to do this. And they're like, all right, then we'll just read A, B, and C. You know, listen to A, B, and C. What can you do different? What's so different about it? And that's what I literally ran with. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and especially not in the creative industry.
No,
All you're doing is taking a product and going, all right, then what can I do with it? How can I make it sound even more fun? And it's literally your personality.
Yeah, definitely,
you know. So.
Yeah, no, massively. Just to end things on this podcast, I always end with 3 questions about the past, present, and future. So the first question is about the past, and that is, what advice would you give a 15-year-old Ngunan Adamu? What would you say to her?
I would say to her, don't be nervous, don't be scared. It's okay to be you.
Yeah.
You know, because when you go into the industry, you have so many people saying, oh, you've got to look this way, you've got to talk this way, you've got to dress this way, you've got to work this way. And it's, it's okay. It's okay just to be yourself, and, and follow your gut instincts. So yeah, that's my advice to 15-year-old me. And stay with music, because I used to play 3 instruments, and now I can't play none. What
did you used to play?
I played the cello, the violin, and the trumpet.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was gifted.
Because the only thing I played was the tambourine, and I thought I was.
You know what? And it is at 15, you feel that you have to be so cool to fit in. And I look back and I think, no, you don't have to. You didn't have to. It was okay to still play music. It was okay to be in the chess club and the religious club. It's okay to be geeky, and you can still be cool. So yeah, it's just okay to be you.
Exactly. Geeks are cool anyway, let's be honest.
Exactly. We take on the world as geeks.
Exactly, yeah. Look at Bill Gates, he's done all right for himself, hasn't he?
That's what it's all about. I was like, so I'm always saying to my little one now, it's okay to be you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I go, oh, they won't play with me if I show them this. And I go, no. Being quirky, being unique, it's going to be what takes you the distance.
Yeah.
It's okay to be that geek and be, have little craziness inside. So yeah, be you, Ngunan.
Definitely, that's good advice. Good advice. So a question about the present. So you've got the choice of 3 people to invite to a dinner party. They can be any 3 people you want. They can be dead, alive, celebrity, non-celebrity, anybody you like. Who would you invite?
Oh, so last year my mantra was, what would Michelle Obama do?
Oh my god. Okay, right, carry on. Sorry, I got excited.
And then the second, every year I always say pay it forward. Got to pay it forward. Well, I always pick a person. So last year it was, what would Michelle Obama do? So in any situation, I'd always think, oh God, I'm nervous, but what would Michelle Obama do? And then this year it was be more like Dolly Parton, because I'm absolutely loving Dolly Parton. So Michelle Obama, Dolly Parton, and my third one, I'm gonna pick a man, would be my dad. So he's passed away now, but he used to work for the UN, and he traveled.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he traveled a lot, and he used to work on the HIV/AIDS virus and around promotion, awareness, and trying to find. When I get older, I want to travel the world like him. But he passed away when I was 21. So now I was saying, oh, if only you could see what I'm doing now, not as a doctor, but as a journalist, So those are the 3 people. And I think the discussion would be fantastic because, I'm political, Michelle's political, Dolly's political in her very own way that people just don't get. She does loads of charity work and, you know, and she's a feminist as well. So yeah, those are my 3 people that I would invite.
That's amazing. Have you, so Michelle Obama actually released a podcast like 3 days ago. I was actually listening to it before we started recording. That's why I got excited when you said her name. I was like,
power of the universe.
Exactly,
power
yeah.
of the universe.
But
I always say, you know what? I always say, I'm a good luck charm. People don't believe. I always say this. I'm a good luck charm. You know what? You know what my name actually means? Ngunan.
Go on then.
It means God's gift. God has given a gift.
Right.
So I always say I'm the gift to the world.
You are. That's amazing.
You know what? And one of the things I always ask people, because this is something that I do myself, is, you know, what's your purpose? And you can have as many purposes as you like. So one of my purpose in life is that, you know, anyone that meets me or comes in my space feels motivated to do something extra, because I am extra. So I was like, when I look at people like Michelle Obama, I think she's that person that she could be talking about cheeseburgers and you feel so excited about it that you think, you know what, I'm going to start a cheeseburger company. Not go out and eat cheeseburgers, but I'm going to start a cheeseburger company. She's that kind of individual.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, no, my mum's the same. So she always says, you want to leave the world a better place than when you entered it. So everyone try and meet, you always try and put a smile on their face, or, you know, be motivating, or, you know, just because let's be honest, the world is a horrible place at the moment. Yeah. But if you can bring a little bit of light into it, then, you know, you're making someone's day, which is great.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that, because I felt like that at some point, but I realized the more people I'm talking to, the more positivity there is. I think the issue is the media, because it makes you feel as if it's drowned with so much negativity. But there's so many people like ourselves at the grassroots level who are making things happen, even just by conversation.
Yeah.
You know, we're sharing our stories, we're sharing our passion. And I think, yeah, at the top there's some crazy people, you know, but I feel there's a vibration of positivity that's going to end all of this, and where we've started it.
Yeah, massive, yeah. Because ever since the Black Lives Movement started, I've had like friends coming up to me, like just wanted to know more, like what my experience, which is like for me is so humbling. Like they want to talk to me about this sort of stuff. Like I've had like incidents that I've been negative in the past, and they were like, "What happened? How did you feel?" I'm like, "Wow, you want to know?" Which is like, to me, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah. But again, having these conversations is, I think, the way forward. Yeah, definitely.
And what was your third? Did you have a third one?
Yeah, third one. Yeah, is so it's a question on the future. So where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? What do you think you'll be doing? Traveling the world, probably.
I want to be a millionaire.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I want to be, and you know what? I said that to the universe, because one of the issues that I had when I was starting my company was talking about money, because I just wanted to save everyone. And a friend of mine was like, all right, then so how are you going to do that? And I was like, I'm going to start my company. Well, how are you going to do that? I'm going to do A, B, and C. All right, then so how are you going to pay people? And then I was like, oh God, so many questions around money. And you know what? And I think it was last year where I thought, why am I scared? Why am I so scared of talking about money and making money and being paid? You know, and the more money you make, the more people you can invest in, and then the more, you know, it becomes like a ripple effect, and you can support other people. So yes, I said to the universe, you know, in 10 years, I would like to be in the position where I'm comfortable. I've got a franchise, you know, I'm doing charity work. I'm a philanthropist. So yeah, and I can only, you know, and the best way to do that is to tell the universe, I want to work hard. I want to be strategic, and I would love to be comfortable, and I want to be comfortable saying that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
No.
I think you saying like, I'm going to be a millionaire, like it has to happen now because you've said it out loud. Like I've always said, like my main motivation is I want to buy my mum a house, because my mum's
Yeah.
like a single parent like you, and
Yeah.
she's done so much for me and my sisters that what I want to do is give her the world. But I think the
Yeah.
first step is buy her a house. So that's my main
That's the same as you.
motivation. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I want to do. That's the aim.
I was the same as you, and I luckily bought my mum's house for her.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter how slow you go. So this, I was just about to say one of my quotes, and it's from Confucius. So no, Confucius is he's a Chinese philosopher.
Yeah.
And the quote that I've got on my signature is, "It doesn't matter how slow you go, as long as you don't stop."
Yeah.
And my main goal was, you know, I wanted to buy my mum a house, and I finally did, you know. And so these things happen as long as you keep on doing what you're doing, and you tell the universe that this is what you're going to do. It always happens. It surely happens. And I believe that regardless of, you know, what we see in the world and the media, good things happen to good people. It really does. It might not happen maybe in the way that you thought it would, but it definitely does happen. It's just that you have to be open to it. So yeah, I think I like that, because it's not easy being a single parent.
No. My mum's like struggled, and it's not just me. Like I've got 3 younger sisters, and like she's supported us so much.
Yeah.
And like, imagine raising me. I'm an idiot. Imagine raising me. And like, fair play to her. Do you know what I mean? So
It's a blessing, though. It is a blessing. And it's, the funny thing is, as a single parent, no matter how much you struggle, the best thing is your children.
yeah,
You know,
she says so, yeah.
everything, I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't have my son, because I always think he needs A, B, and C. He needs this. He does need love, but he needs, you know, to live in a society that's fair. You know, he needs to live, you know, a comfortable life. So it makes it actually, him being here has allowed me to make decisions that I probably wouldn't have made. You know, I might not have started my company if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
I might not have the success I have now if it wasn't for him, because I wouldn't have had the company.
Yeah.
You know, so it all fits in. It all fits into place.
Definitely. I can't think of a perfect way to end. Thank you so much, Ngunan.
Thank you. I've enjoyed myself.